Hello, welcome, and welcome back to Monday Moves. I'm your host, Marnie Salop. Monday Moves is a weekly series that I usually do on the audio Marnie on the Move podcast, but today I'm bringing it to you here on video and moving forward. Every week I hop on for a short 10 to 15 minutes, talk about news, tips and advice, things that are happening in the world of running, wellness, triathlon, cycling, all those things. You get it. That's what we're talking about today. Today I am talking about the Boston Marathon weekend and all of the exciting and incredible activations and events that take place throughout the weekend for both runners and spectators, from wellness and food to shakeout runs, parties, and more. This is my third year going to Boston and covering this race as media, and it really started as me vision boarding because this race is something that I have always wanted to do, and the Boston Marathon is the race that got me started with competing in half marathon, and I always told myself that one day I would qualify and have a time that would get me in. One day is around the corner. The Boston Marathon weekend has big energy, lots of good vibes, and just generally it's like run palooza. Lots of excitement. It is truly awesome. Even if you're a spectator, if you're up there vision boarding in Boston, maybe you want to do this race like me, so you want to go up there, check out the course, see what it's like, feel the energy. It is absolutely inspiring. Every year I end up meeting someone and having just mind-blowing conversation about their why, what they're doing in Boston, and I get teary-eyed, which I don't usually do, but it's just so inspiring. This year, I am going to Boston to cover the race as media with the Boston Athletic Association, which I'm super excited about. This marathon weekend brings together athletes from around the globe, fans, spectators, you name it. The weekend is action-packed with panels, talks, run shakeouts, wellness activations, recovery activations, and lots of great fueling and hydration brand. Let's dive into all of the incredible activations that are happening throughout the weekend. From the marathon itself to wellness and recovery focused activations, shakeout runs, local pop-ups, and top spots that you should be checking out throughout the weekend. Also, if you're running, I definitely recommend relaxing on Sunday and not getting caught up in all of these activations because it's a lot, and as much as it's so much fun, it can also be a lot of energy that you're putting out. So if I were racing, I would dive in headfirst to all of the awesome shakeout runs, panels, talks, expo, everything Friday and Saturday, and then kind of chill on Sunday, and Monday is just a big running party. All right, let's get into it. This year is the 129th Boston Marathon. There are over 31,000 people signed up for the race, and they estimate that 30,000 people will show up at the start line on race day. Racing on Monday the 21st are over 18,168 men, 13,697 women, and 76 non-binary athletes. Runners come from over 128 countries and 50 U.S. states. From a local standpoint, there are 4,606 athletes registered from the Massachusetts area. There are 9,500 volunteers, including 1,600 medical volunteers. Also racing is the Bank of America Marathon Charity Program with over 176 nonprofits. They are expecting to raise over $50 million this year. The Boston Marathon course spans 26 miles and 385 yards across 8 cities and towns. The $1,214,500 prize purse spans across the open division, the wheelchair division, and the para-athlete division, including a $50,000 course record bonus for open and wheelchair athletes. Now that you have some of the fun facts around the Boston Marathon, let's get into the fun activities that are happening around town. I'm going to kick things off Marnie on the Move style, so that means we're going to start with some wellness and recovery. One of my favorite wellness spots here in New York City has just opened a Boston location in the Seaport, and it is called Remedy Place. They have all kinds of incredible wellness activations, from red light therapy, hot and cold plunge, contrast therapy, AI massage, IV drips, and so much more. I will put a link in the show notes to Remedy Place if you want to check it out. They are offering Boston Marathon runners 20% off if you bring your registration or bib with you when you go for a service. That's 20% off, which is awesome, for the entire month of April, and they're offering the 20% off of certain services. They're tech remedies and IV drips, helping with pre and post race recovery. I say, if you are running, make an appointment for Tuesday if you're staying in town to go and get an IV, a vitamin IV drip, because that will be a lifesaver. If you are spectating and you need to give your athlete some space on Sunday, why not go and hang out at Remedy Place and maybe do some contrast therapy, maybe hang out in the sauna, try some of their newer services, or get an AI massage. Also, AI massage is good for the runners post-marathon as well. Remedy Place is going to be my first spot that I'm going to when I get into town. Next up on the wellness and recovery front is Hyperice. Hyperice is going big in Boston. You can find Hyperice at the Westin Hotel and Nike starting on Friday, April 17th through Monday. They will also be popping up on Saturday at Dick's Sporting Goods. Hyperice will be rolling with their Normatec Elite compression boots, which are great for pre and post race. And if you're a spectator and you're going to be standing all day, you probably also need some compression boots. Hyperice will also have on site their Hypervolt and Venom products as well. Let's get into the running activations and events. And there are seriously so many, and every brand is doing them all at the same time. So today I'm going to give you like a really awesome guide on where to go, what to do, and make a list. Pick the ones you like. Also, all of these events that I'm about to share with you are on the brand's Instagram. So they might not be on the brand's websites, but they're on their Instagram in the link in profile area. They usually have like splash that pages. So, all right, let's get into the running. I'm going to dial you in to many of the amazing fitness events, shakeout runs, panels and talks, places you can just go shop, try on shoes, demo the latest style of your favorite brand. Let's get into this. Kicking things off with Tracksmith. Tracksmith is, by the way, the pioneer of the pop-up at the Boston Marathon. They were one of the first brands to really start this with their store on Newbury Street, and they have been leading the way and paving the way since early days. Even before I got there 3 years ago, which was my first time dialing into this whole Run-Palooza experience, Tracksmith was there. The brand is from Boston. The founder lives in Boston, and it is an iconic location on Newbury Street. And again, they were one of the first pop-ups to really start hosting shakeout runs and doing promotions around this event, not exactly partnered with the expo, but doing their own activations off-site. Tracksmith has so many awesome activations this weekend at their track house on Newbury Street. To be specific, 285 Newbury Street. April 16th, 6:30 p.m., they have a speed session. So if you're in town early or you live in Boston, they're doing a speed session with intervals, 400s, 100s, all the fun things. On April 18th at 6:30 p.m., Tracksmith is hosting a community marathon weekend kickoff party at their track house on Newbury Street. On Saturday the 19th, Tracksmith has a shakeout run at 9 a.m. On Sunday, April 20th, Tracksmith also has a shakeout run at 9 a.m. And it's a 5K out and back on the marathon course. That's super cool, even if you're not racing. So if you're putting this on your vision board and want to run on the course, this is your opportunity to do it with Tracksmith. On the 21st, they are having a marathon after party, starting at 12 p.m. party. I highly recommend checking out Tracksmith and all of their events. Plus, full disclosure, they're kind of one of my favorite running apparel brands. So I definitely will be at Tracksmith at some point throughout the weekend, shopping and hopefully running. All right, next up, Hoka. Hoka has so many awesome events this weekend. And if you haven't already watched my Clifton 10 review, check it out. You're going to be able to try them in Boston. So the Hoka Clifton 10 is launching on April 15th. And you will be able to be one of the first people to run in them if you're in Boston. Hoka will be hosting a series of events that involve shakeout runs and testing shoes, as I just mentioned. So you can test the Cielo X1 2.0, you can test the Clifton 10. Both are awesome shoes. I highly recommend dropping by the Hoka pop-up, which is located at the Prudential Center at 800 Boylston Street in Boston. Again, all of this will be in the show notes, but April 17th, there's a test run with the Clifton and Cielo X1 2.0. Check it out. You can head over 6:30 p.m. On the 18th at 7 p.m., they're doing a shakeout run. Most shakeout runs are 5K, just in case you're not familiar. On April 18th at 7 p.m., they're doing a shakeout run. On April 19th at 9 a.m., they're doing another shakeout run at 218 Newbury Street with Sage Kennedy. On April 19th, Hoka is hosting a shakeout run at 10 a.m. with FP Movement. It's a 5K again. Most of these shakeout runs are 5K or less. Another really cool activation that Hoka is doing on the 20th is the Achilles International Run, 9 a.m. I will put a link to this schedule because the addresses change per event and you need to pay attention. So Hoka is at two addresses, 800 Prudential and then also 218 Newbury Street. So it's a little bit tricky. Next up, another of my favorite brands, Puma, will be hosting a range of panels, talks, shakeout runs, and events. The Puma location is at the High Point Pop-Up, which is 65 High Street. On April 18th at 6 p.m., Puma is hosting a Go Wild shakeout run. On April 18th, from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m., Puma is hosting an unsanctioned race and party called Chase the High. On April 20th at 8 a.m., Puma is hosting a shakeout run called What's Your High? Brooks has their usual Hyperion House set up and a weekend of action-packed events. Panels, shakeout runs, talks, you name it, the works, at the Brooks Hyperion House and also off-site locations. Let's get into the list. First up, the Brooks Hyperion House is located at 222 Newbury Street. Let's get into the list of activations. And again, I will share a link so you can check it out and map out your course for the weekend. On April 18th at 9 a.m., there's a shakeout with pioneers. On April 18th at 6 p.m., there's a community panel at the Brooks Hyperion House led by Kira Smalls on the power of community in running. And I again will list out more details. This is a really awesome panel. On April 19th at 10 a.m., there's a pro interview with Des Linden and CJ Albertson. Both of these pro athletes have been on the Marnie on the Move podcast, so make sure you listen. I also interviewed CJ Albertson at the Boston Marathon last year, and he is just a super cool athlete. He's also been on Running Shoe Talk, and if you're in Boston, I highly recommend checking out this panel with Des and CJ. On April 20th, Hyperion House Shakeout Run at 9 a.m. On April 21st, the Brooks Cheer Zone is in Wellesley at mile 14, which is my favorite spot to watch. And I'm not doing anything on where to spectate or anything like that, but I would recommend watching from Wellesley and checking out that scream tunnel with all the students. It's so awesome. A really fun experience. And Brooks is there with their cheer zone. Mile 14. And they're going to have all kinds of fun snacks, hydration, activations. Next up, I guess that wasn't the last one. Next up is, if you're not familiar with the Endorphin Run Club. They started here in New York, founded by Tyler Schwartz and Rebecca Stowe, and they are an incredibly awesome national run club, I think, at this point. Anyway, they've teamed up with New Balance and Shox and Abbott, and they have some really cool events, which they just posted on their Instagram, but I'm telling you here because I love what they're doing and I think they should be included in this mix. So their pop-up, they have a pop-up location on Newbury Street at 166 Newbury Street. They are doing April 17th a happy hour run called Townie's Night Out with Sam Adams, sponsored by Sam Adams. On April 19th at 8 a.m., they're doing a morning long run. So they're doing 8 miles, I think, on that morning. On April 19th, they also have a 2:30 to 4 o'clock p.m. Abbott launch party. So what I love about the Endorphins is they're doing some really unique activations, and so I'll probably be at some of those. And last one that I definitely want to mention is that on April 20th, they're doing a Shakeout run, and the first 500 people that come to this Shakeout run get a free t-shirt. So when I say the first 500 people, when you see my video footage from this weekend, there are thousands of people that come out to do these Shakeout runs. Like, 500 people is a small amount for one of these Shakeout runs. Like, just to give you a concept and perspective. And last but not least, and most importantly, is the B.A.A and Boston Marathon Expo and the Fan Fest at City Hall Plaza, both of which have lots of exciting pro panels, athlete talks, yoga classes, all kinds of education and activations happening in the expo and at the City Hall Plaza. Definitely highly recommend for spectators to go with their athletes to the expo because you can shop. So if you're not running, you should be shopping. There's so much stuff all in one place at these expos. You can stock up on all your hydration and nutrition. I know this year Cliff Bar is a sponsor of the Boston Marathon, so they will have something going on at the expo, and I will definitely be there eating their sour chews, which I'm currently obsessed with. Also, Shox is a partner of the Boston Marathon this year, and so they will be doing their own activations, which I'm not dialed into, but I'm sure if you go to their Instagram, you can find out they're doing some Shakeout runs and stuff like that. The Heinz Convention Center is at 900 Boylston Street. You can't miss it. It's like, you can't miss any of this. Like, if you sneeze, you will be at a running event. It is like that. And it wouldn't be a best of Boston Marathon race weekend without me mentioning a few food spots and activations. So, while I am not a foodie, so don't get that excited, I will do a deeper dive into food and restaurants once I get there. But for now, I have to say, I know it's going to sound cheesy, but I love legal seafood. And it's definitely my go-to whenever I'm in Boston. Like every year for the past few years, anytime we pass one, we go there. It's also Lori's favorite restaurant in Boston. Another really awesome restaurant that actually is doing something on Marathon Monday is Faccia a Faccia. It's also Italian, so if you're carb loading for race week, I would highly recommend checking out this restaurant. They also have gluten-free options and a raw bar, which is on Marathon Monday, they're doing a whole rosé and raw bar activation. And on Marathon Monday, they're doing free pour-ons for runners. Guys, if you have any restaurant or food tips for me, things or places you think I should check out, let me know. Hit me up in the comments if you have any favorite food spots. I'm also looking for some vegan restaurants. That's a wrap on top events and activations to check out during the Boston Marathon weekend from some of my favorite wellness spots, restaurants, brands that are hosting panels, talks, shakeout runs, and activations. It's going to be an exciting weekend. I highly recommend that you go on to all of your favorite running brands' websites and their Instagram accounts, look around, get the schedule. If you're not getting it here, make a plan. It is highly recommended because there is just so much happening. All of the shakeout runs and all of the panels and all the events kind of happen simultaneously. So you need to pick and choose, and it's tough. It's a tough call which one you want to go to, but luckily they're all on the same block. All right, guys. Happy running. If you're racing, have an awesome race. I will be at the finish line interviewing pros and spectating, and I may come out on the course and head over to Wellesley later in the day, but I have a feeling I'm going to be trapped at the finish line. Before I leave you, don't forget, tune in to the Hoka Clifton 10 review, and this weekend a new episode is dropping. If you are a runner or triathlete, I have an awesome conversation that's coming out with Dr. Sonali Lal, founder of Integrative Spine and Sport. She is a physiatrist and a sports medicine doctor, and she is the doctor who did my PRP. She is incredible, amazing. It's an awesome conversation, and you're definitely going to learn a lot. All right, seriously, over and out. See you next week.